Good morning, welcome to Breakfast with Naga Munchetty and Charlie State.
Our headlines today. The search for a coronavirus treatment. The US approves the emergency use of an experimental drug.
Here, doctors will trial treating critically ill patients with blood plasma from COVID-19 survivors.
More tips in England will reopen today, but with big restrictions on the types of waste they'll accept.
Good morning. Neutral grounds and up to 40,000 tests. That's what will be needed to get the Premier League finished, according to league bosses.
A royal helping hand. Photographs of Princess Charlotte helping deliver food parcels to pensioners are released to mark her 5th birthday.
Good morning. After a showery end to the week, it looks like our weather will be settling down a little for the weekend. Nothing too warm to come just yet. I think we'll save that for the end of the week ahead. More details for you coming up.
It's Saturday, May the 2nd. Our top story is that the US authorities have approved the use of an antiviral drug, which they believe may help to treat COVID-19. It's called remdesivir, and it's already being used on Ebola patients.
Here in the UK, the government says it has beaten its target of 100,000 coronavirus tests in England per day, but that includes 40,000 home tests being posted out with the results yet to be processed. John McManus has this report.
A moment of hope. Dean Hardwick hugging his partner Hannah Wright after spending 5 weeks being treated for the coronavirus at Tameside General Hospital. His life, like so many others, saved by an NHS working at near full capacity. But with 27,510 people in the UK now having died with coronavirus, other families are grieving. This is 60-year-old delivery driver Pete Davies from near Warrington, who spent 3 weeks in hospital before the virus killed him. His relatives have described how they were given PPE so they could spend his final hours at his bedside. The government now believes the peak of infections in the UK has passed. In the latest government briefing, the Health Secretary Matt Hancock said his self-declared target of 100,000 tests per day had been met.
I knew that it was an audacious goal, but we needed an audacious goal because testing is so important for getting Britain back on her feet.
But the headline number of more than 122,000 tests doesn't tell the full story. Around a third of the overall figure are testing kits sent to people at home and other settings such as care homes.
We cannot test without contact tracing, and the two have to be conducted together. Furthermore, you need a strategy of who you're going to test and how you're going to test. So there are a number of hurdles. And furthermore, to say that we're testing when actually the tests have gone out in the post is not the same as having tests in the laboratory done today.
Meanwhile, authorities in the United States have licensed the first drug for use against COVID-19, remdesivir. Preliminary trial results showed it did reduce stays in hospital for COVID-19 patients by 31%, though it did not significantly improve survival rates. The World Health Organization has been more cautious, saying the drug failed to improve patients' conditions. But remdesivir's maker, Gilead Sciences, has called that report inconclusive, and it's promised to distribute 1.5 million vials of the drug for free. John McManus, BBC News.
In the UK, doctors are working on a very different potential treatment for coronavirus. A clinical trial would see patients treated with blood plasma from people who've had the virus and since recovered.
So far, donors have given enough plasma to treat 150 people. Here's more from our health correspondent, Catherine Burns.
Here is the hope. This golden liquid is blood plasma. The trial will ask if it could give critically ill people instant protection against the coronavirus attacking their body. So far, there's no proven treatment for COVID-19. This study aims to change that. It doesn't involve new, expensive drugs, though, but something freely given. Zahid Sarfaz is a hospital doctor. He's had the virus and has treated people with it too.
Every step we're taking right now on government level, hospital level, is to find a cure for this disease, which has affected billions of people around the globe. So I feel really privileged and excited that I'm actually playing some role in that.
When Zahid or anyone else was sick, his immune system would have made antibodies to attack the coronavirus. These build up over about a month and are found in blood plasma. Donations are happening across the UK. 150 people in England have already donated, and each one can give enough to treat another person. So far, 6,500 people in England have gone online to say they're interested in donating. Others who've had the virus will get phone calls asking if they want to be involved. Doctors are now looking for suitable patients to give the plasma to.
What we are essentially giving is a rapid protection against the virus. And we are hoping that by clearing the virus quickly because of this rapid protection by the antibody, it'll help patients recover quickly.
It's early days, but if this works, the hope is that we could have an effective treatment against coronavirus. Catherine Burns, BBC News.
Commuters could be asked to check their temperature before leaving home as part of measures to make public transport safer.
It's understood to be one of several options being looked at for when the lockdown is eased. Let's talk to our political correspondent, Jonathan Blake. Jonathan, good morning to you. This is one of many things being looked at, isn't it?
It is, Naga. Yes, the Prime Minister has promised a comprehensive plan for how the UK will move beyond the strict lockdown measures that are currently in place. That's going to come this coming Thursday when the government has to, by law, review the lockdown measures in place. And this idea of asking people to take their temperature before they use public transport is one potential option being looked at. We're told, though, it is a long way from being policy, but it might be one way that you could establish whether people have symptoms for coronavirus. Of course, a high temperature is one of those before they were able to use public transport. The Department for Transport say officials are constantly looking at examples of best practice in other countries around the world. One country which has set out a very detailed timetable for moving beyond its lockdown is the Republic of Ireland. Leo Varadkar, the Prime Minister, addressing the nation yesterday, saying that it would move in 3-week intervals towards a place towards the end of August when things were back to some kind of normality. I wouldn't expect such a specific timetable from the Prime Minister this week, though.
Jonathan, thanks very much. Jonathan Blake there.
A nursing home in New York has recorded 98 deaths linked to coronavirus. The loss of life at the Isabella Geriatric Centre has been described by the city's mayor as horrifying. If confirmed, the death toll amounts to 14% of the residents in the home and would make it the largest such coronavirus cluster in the state.
NHS England is urging parents not to avoid routine vaccination appointments for their children.
There are fears that diseases like measles and mumps could make a return if immunisations fall because patients are scared of catching coronavirus when they visit a health centre or GP surgery. Anna Collinson has this report.
The idea has been likened to a fast food drive-through. You pull up and you get your jab.
Hello, beautiful.
In this case, an MMR vaccine to protect 13-month-old Safar from diseases like measles and mumps.
Well done.
This drive-through may not be as fun, but doctors say a few tears are worth it for essential vaccinations. 3 weeks ago, this surgery saw a big drop in vaccinations. Patients said they were scared they would come into contact with coronavirus in the waiting rooms.
Hello, Daddy. You're back again. How are you?
So they've started vaccinating outside the surgery, and people can come by car or on foot.
Perfect, lovely. Thank you so much.
So the first part where there would be a verbal explanation is done on the telephone, and then the nurse comes out just to give the injection. So the face-to-face contact is only 2 minutes, not 10 minutes, and then goes back in and all the records are written up without the patient there.
Despite pressures from COVID-19, medical officials in England, Wales and Scotland all agree essential vaccinations need to continue.
Hiya.
Unless a person is experiencing symptoms. They say it's essential in preventing outbreaks of diseases.
If you're due a routine immunisation, so it's either your baby or child, or if you're pregnant, please get in touch with your surgery and keep your appointment.
There are going to be people watching who say, even though you've got this new setup, coming to the doctors is just too risky because of coronavirus. What would you say to them?
please come and protect your children. Life is all about risks and benefits. The benefits of having your children vaccinated is so much greater. It would be a tragedy, and I would feel I had failed if we saw measles or diphtheria make a comeback.
Thank you so much, Daddy. Okay.
Anna Collinson, BBC News.
Police are appealing for witnesses after an 11-year-old boy was shot last night in East London. A number of people fled the scene in Upminster, where the boy was found with a gunshot wound, and a man in his 40s with head injuries was also discovered. No arrests have been made.
The North Korean leader Kim Jong-un has made his first appearance on state media in more than 20 days. There had been international speculation that he was seriously ill. The country's official news agency said he'd opened a fertiliser plant near the capital, Pyongyang.
Kensington Palace has released new images of Princess Charlotte to mark her 5th birthday, which she celebrates today. The pictures show the princess delivering homemade care packages to those in need during the coronavirus. The photos were taken in April by her mother, the Duchess of Cambridge, who is also patron of the Royal Photographic Society and has regularly released pictures of her children to mark their birthdays.
And if you're a fan of images, still images or moving images, and you want a little bit of calm, this is just for you right now. It might explain the popularity of the webcam that you can see right now. These ospreys are in the Scottish Highlands, in Loch Arkaig is live streaming a pair of ospreys incubating 3 eggs, attracting many more viewers than normal. And you can see why in a way. There's something very calming about just watching. Not much happens. We've been looking in from time to time over the past 2.5 hours or so.
This morning in the 6 o'clock hour, it was facing east. Then in the 7 o'clock hour, facing, I don't know, facing right and then south. And now it's turned north. I reckon the next hour it'll be back facing east.
And those who've been watching it, so the webcam has been in operation since 2017. And the eggs have been laid on the same day each year for all of those years. So that kind of regularity in the seasons and what they do is quite extraordinary. Rather lovely.
Do they only, I don't know if you'll know the answer to this.
It doesn't sound like I will.
Do they only lay one set of eggs?
Let's ask the question.
Please.
And then we'll know.
See the headlines as they happen and watch BBC News live in the app and get the full story with bbc.co.uk/news. Follow the story for all the latest with BBC News.